For a lot of children, all these changes in the world have been pretty difficult. It's a lot to take in for a child. This can sometimes lead to some serious meltdowns. That's why we're doing this video series. We want to help. Hello, I'm Samantha from Learning Success. This video is part of a series to help you, the parent, reduce or prevent the stress on children that cause meltdowns, and also to help you deal with them better when they do occur. In this series, you'll get help from a variety of experts on the subject. In today's video, we have Laurie. Laurie Wright is a best-selling children's author on a mission to empower people one book at a time. She empowers children through her books that gently, and with humor, coach kids in self-regulation. She empowers writers by getting them to step up, take action, and publish those books. Let's see what Laurie has to say about preventing meltdowns.
Hello there, parent teachers now. I'm Laurie, and I'm going to give you 4 suggestions for how to prevent the meltdowns and the shutdowns that your kids might be having now as they're trying to adjust to learning at home. So the first one has to do with our breathing. And I think instinctively, a lot of us parents, we just tell our kids to take some deep breaths and calm down. And there's a valid scientific reason for this. When you take deep breaths, you circulate the air better and you regulate your breathing. You bring it all the way up to the front of your brain, which is where we want it. When kids are freaking out, or even when they're freaking in, I call it, they do this with their bodies and their diaphragm gets squinched down. So when kids are really upset, the breath doesn't get all the way to the prefrontal cortex, and it might only be getting this far. So step 1 is to try to circulate that breath, regulate the breathing all through your brain so they can make their best decisions. And probably wouldn't hurt for us to do the same with them. So a fun way to do that, either at least once a day or before each time you sit down to learn, is with bubbles. So these bubbles, for example, you just blow them. So go outside if you can and blow bubbles for 5 minutes. Now, kids who are under 4 and some 4-year-olds will struggle with this. So then you could get something really cool like a bubble maker, bubble blower, whatever you can order, I guess, or whatever you have at your house, or get your older child to blow bubbles for your younger child. But encourage the younger children just to blow the bubbles. So if the bubble is coming down, they can blow it to try to pop it, or they can blow it to push it higher, or they can blow it for you to catch it, whatever games you want to do. But that blowing out, sustained blowing out that you need to do to blow the bubble will cause that reaction of having to have a big breath in. Like that. So you have to fill your diaphragm farther than you might normally in order to make that big breath out. So if they do that a few times, the oxygen will be circulating really well in their brain. And it's fun. And even though your older children, 8 and above, might be too cool for bubble blowing, please do include them in this activity, because whether or not they show it, it's fun. It's fun for kids of all ages. So do include all the kids, and maybe those older, cooler ones can do it for the younger kids. So that's the first thing, is just to get more breath, more oxygen circulating in your child's brain, and maybe in yours as well. Okay, so the second idea is to, before you sit down to do the work, engage the prefrontal cortex, which is the real decision maker of the brain. And if you are using, your decision-making brain and not your reptilian brain, well, then you're going to be able to make a better decision rather than just fight, flight, or freeze. So to do this and make it fun for kids, you can teach them a joke, and then the next day they have to tell you the joke back. Knock jokes kids love. maybe Google some so you're not stuck with the same old ones every day. Something else that you can do besides telling jokes is dance. So if you have an older child that's really reluctant, make some TikTok videos with them. You might have to Google how to do this, because I don't know how to do this, but that's something they would be cool with doing, is making some TikTok videos. Or you can do juggling, and so you can juggle with like your neck scarves. Grab some of your neck scarves and throw them up and have your kids juggle with them, more than one of them. You don't want to throw 8 at them at once, because that will be really overwhelming and frustrating. But 1 or 2, throwing them up and catching them, they really have to stop and think about what they're doing. Okay, so a third thing you can do is When you actually sit down at the table to do some homework, start thinking about some sounds that they can make, and they really have to concentrate on them. And so that also engages the prefrontal cortex. So if your child is in French immersion or another language learning, a lot of languages, they have to roll their R's. I can't do it, but you can have your child try to roll their R's a few times, maybe on the premise that they're teaching you how to do it. So they're rolling their R's. If you have a 2, a 3, a 4-year-old learning English, well, there's some English sounds that are also tricky. So for example, the TH, like in 3 or Thursday, you could practice making the TH sound. So tongue between your teeth, and get them to do that just 3 or 4 times, no pressure. Let's just try a few different sounds. And what it does is, it brings them out of the reptilian brain and it brings them up, and they have to use that decision-making brain, and they really have to concentrate on it. So don't do anything that's too hard. You have to base it on how old your child is and, of course, what they'll be receptive to. 4th thing that you can do is something you can do all day long, and it's all about you. Sorry. You can model really positive self-talk. So a lot of times what's happening with kids when they don't want to do homework at home is they're just frustrated. It's very unusual. It's not what they're used to. If you have a particularly sensitive child, they're used to almost hiding in a group of 20 to 30 kids. And then one-on-one with you looking at them for that whole, work period, they're not used to that attention, that direct eye contact and that attention. It's very overwhelming. Other times it might be just that you're not their teacher, or that you are different. You teach the information differently. So what I would suggest to you, because it's really, really helpful, is out loud modeling of positive self-talk. So let's say you're making dinner and you burn your finger, or you spill something, or you do something wrong. Normally you would process that in your head and you would move on. So now process it out loud where your children can hear you. Oh my goodness, I messed that up. I made a mistake. Oh, that's the 2nd time I've done that this week. I'm really frustrated with myself, but I know I'll do better. I know I can do hard things. I know I can cook this dinner. I know it will taste good in the end. Whatever's appropriate, I can do it. And model that as many times as you can out loud. Oh, it's morning again. I have to wake up again. Man, do I dislike mornings, but I know I have to. And I know in 5 minutes I will feel better. And I know when I get my cuddles, or I get some dog kisses, or I have my coffee or my Cheerios, I know that I will feel better. Whatever you're processing your feelings, if you can do it outwardly, it can be a negative feeling, but then you put that positive spin on it. So you talk about how you can do whatever it is that's hard, or that yes, you made a mistake, but it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes, and you know that you won't make that mistake again. Or you know that when you do make that mistake again, it will still be okay, because it's okay to make mistakes. So those are 4 ideas for you to prevent meltdowns and shutdowns, depending on how your child handles this new homework at home. So improve the breathing, get it circulating all through their brains, engage the prefrontal cortex by teaching them some jokes, do some physical activities like the dancing or the scarf juggling, and then really, really work on modeling the behavior that you want to see in your child, that resiliency, even in the face of these big changes and negative feelings. They can do it. You can do it. We can all do it. So I hope that helps you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Laurie. Turning around the mistakes into a positive spin and doing it regularly could help lessen the occurrence of stress and meltdowns. Mind conditioning it is. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to share it on social media. Use the hashtag #NoMoreMeltdowns. And remember, you've got this. The fact that you are here watching this video means you're an amazing parent. And that's a wonderful thing to be.